Welcome back to the Coach Dad podcast, where we talk faith, family, and the mindset it takes to raise champions, both on and off the field. This episode continues our 90-10 series, and today we're talking about the general aspect, the voices you listen to, and how the people around you can shape your perspective, your progress, and your purpose. Let's get into it. Hi there, Coach Dad. You ready to get into this?
Ready to do it.
All right, let's go right into question number 1. When it comes to advice, especially in sports or parenting, how do you personally discern who's qualified to speak into your situation and who's just talking without experience?
So, a couple things. I think when you're considering building a team and surrounding yourself uh, with advisors, you really got to consider what they bring to the table. And do they believe in the vision that you have for yourself, for your child, for whatever it is that you're bringing them in for? Who's on the bus, as we talked about last time?
Mm-hmm.
Um, But just imagine a situation where you go to your boss for career advice, and you say, I'm looking to move up, and I'm looking to make some advancements, and they tell you, I really don't see what everybody sees in you. I don't see your strengths. All I see is your weaknesses. And you think to yourself, he's a bad manager, a bad person. But that may be true, but it may not be true. Maybe he just has an inability to coach, to lead, to develop.
I feel like that's deep because I feel like, oftentimes with people that are in leadership over us, I don't think we often give them that grace. We don't give the coach that grace.
But what we often miss is in your job, um, in coaching, people generally get promoted because they're good at what they do,
Right.
not because they're good leaders, but because they're good coaches, because they're good at a particular skill. And now I'm going to promote that guy to be over all of this. Okay, great. But nobody has taught him to lead.
Got it.
Nobody's taught him to manage. Nobody's taught him to develop. And we think by osmosis, these things happen.
We
When
do.
is the last time you saw a coach being sent somewhere for leadership training
For
or
leadership training?
leadership development? We just think that these things are innate and everybody should have them. That's why good coaches are really hard to find. Let me rewind. Good leaders are hard to find. There are a lot of good coaches. There are good position coaches, good coordinators, but it doesn't mean they're leaders of people.
That makes sense. I
Yeah.
mean, it seems like it's two different skill sets if you think about it. Having an expertise in your position and having an expertise of leading people.
Right.
Those are two completely separate things.
Correct. And so you could do, a couple different things. You can accept the criticism and never try again. You could leave and get a new job, or take the time to work on your weaknesses. And so here's where we come in as parents, because we get to be a part of the solution. And so, how do you help your child or your athlete through a bad situation?
That's like the $1,000,000 question. So let me ask you this. How do you get an athlete to see the larger picture, like beyond the moment they're in or the obstacle right in front of them?
So I'm reminded of a experiment that was done where a circle was drawn around an ant, and that ant could not get himself out of the circle for the life of him. That was a barrier for him. Even though that circle was not raised from the table, it was just something he could see. He could not get out of that circle. Then they began to draw that circle smaller and smaller until the ant stepped on the line and realized that it wasn't a barrier. And then he walked right out of the circle.
Wow.
And they were never able to draw that ant into a box again.
Huh.
And so, what does that tell us about limitations? We spend a childhood setting circles around children for their own safety, setting circles around children for our own insecurities. But children are born with no circles, with no limitations.
Wow.
And we have to teach them to get back to that place of thinking when it comes to their dreams. We often say things, oh, you can't do that because of this, this, and that. But that might be true in a different scenario, it may not be true for them. How do we remove those circles? And again, goes back to who do you have on the bus? Who do you have on your team? So in our own life, we had to make a decision to remove circles that have been placed on our littles. I don't know if you remember, but the boys were not coordinated. They were not fast.
I remember.
They were not skilled. And people used to laugh at us. There used to be me and two other dads at the park, and we'd be out there working with our kids, and people thought we were crazy. People were like, oh my goodness, this dude is out there wasting his time with those kids. But there's no way for those kids to succeed if someone doesn't first believe in them, if someone doesn't have a vision for them. And that's where we are as parents, to have a vision, have something that goes beyond the circle,
I
that
was
goes
gonna say
beyond the
beyond the
thing
circle.
in front of them. Because fear makes you only see the obstacle in front of you. You can't get over the line, you can't get over the problem. And what we teach is to get beyond that circle, beyond that limitation, and into what is the next step to realizing your dream. Because there are no limits, there is no finish line. There's only moments of pause until we get to the next
Right.
area.
We're constantly like calibrating, recalibrating.
Mhm. And so, a good friend of mine, Kirby, sent me a thing called The Power of Yet. And so we did this with our kids without even knowing what it was, but it's, you are not fast enough yet.
Yeah, I like that.
You're not skilled yet, but that doesn't mean we stay within this circle.
I really like that.
Yeah,
We're gonna look at that limitation and we're shooting to press beyond it.
yeah,
Now, I want to ask another question, and this question actually came from one of our listeners, but
yeah.
it's along these lines. But I think this is a question a lot of parents would have. So, as both a coach and a dad, how do you handle the tension between being honest and being supportive, especially when a kid just isn't ready or someone else is performing better?
So we talked about this last time of facing the brutal truths. You can be brutally honest um, with your kid that so and so is better than you today.
It sounds like yet.
It is yet, but it doesn't mean they have to continue to be. And if you continue to work on you, you can only control. And this is another thing. Again, Kirby sent me the 20 feet of, well, forgive me, the 20 square feet of influence around you.
Hmm,
You can only control your environment, the things that you can control, the things that affect you that you can personally touch and change.
right.
I can't let my ice cream melt while looking at yours.
Dang. I mean, it's great. And of course, I'm thinking of it just like from a professional standpoint.
Right,
When you say your sphere of influence is 20 feet,
right,
it doesn't make anything too overwhelming.
right,
I can manage 20 feet.
right.
I feel like that making those kinds of things in bite sizes for student athletes is great.
Even at work for me, um, I try to put things in bite sizes for staff. And so I remember being a new manager and having a group of case managers that say, "Oh my God, I got 100 people on my caseload. I got 200 people on my caseload." And my question to them was, "Why does that matter?" Because I can't see 200 people. Okay, how many can you see in a day? Well, I can see five. See those five.
Hmm.
And then tomorrow we'll worry about the rest.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I can see 5. Let's
let's
do
get
that.
those 5. Let's get those 5 done, and then tomorrow we'll deal with the next 5, and then the day after that we'll deal with the next 5. The same thing that we talked about walking in a circle with cleaning.
Oh, yeah. We
In
talked about that in the
the earlier
earlier
podcast, yeah.
episode, yeah.
But make things in bite sizes and then help them to be where their feet are. You can only do what you can do when you can do it. And where you are today is right where you were supposed to be today. Now let's work on tomorrow.
I like that because I also like the fact that it allows you uh, the ability to accomplish something. If
Right.
I only have to see 5 clients and I have a list of 200,
Mm-hmm.
I will feel a sense of accomplishment after having seen 5, and I'll feel the motivation for tomorrow
Right.
to see 5 more. Heck, maybe I'll even see 6 or 7.
Right.
I see the psychology behind it.
Correct.
So, how can parents manage their emotions, like frustration, disappointment, even comparison, when things don't go as planned for their athletes?
So what I try to remind parents, and I had this conversation with a parent just this week, game day is not the day for correction.
Okay.
What you want to do is you want to get them through that moment of disappointment, whatever that is. And then tomorrow we can talk about the corrections. But coaching the day of, after they've failed, is not going to get you to your solution. What it's going to make is the car ride unbearable. It's going to make that experience with the two of you contentious. Let them get through the moment, coach them through the moment, manage your emotions, and then whatever the corrections are, you guys can make the next day.
I think an important thing that we're alluding to and not necessarily talking about, and I find this a lot in my professional career.
Yeah,
Whenever I would be training people, the most important thing for me in the industry that I work in is surprisingly confidence.
right,
With all of the data and all of the knowledge that we have to learn, the most important thing is preserving confidence
correct.
because um, I'm in the energy industry. So, for those of you that do not know, you know, and working on an energy trading desk, it's so important to have confidence because when things happen, when the situations happen, you've got to have the confidence to act. So, the thing that I always focused on in training was making sure that the person I was training maintained their confidence. That's not to say that we're not going to make mistakes, but how do we turn those mistakes into teachable moments to preserve their confidence?
So, for example, one of our sons is, having had a football game, and he had 2 drop balls.
Yes.
And so I was able to encourage him by simply saying to him, "You're built for this."
Come on now.
I didn't address the fact that he didn't look the ball all the way in or he tried to run before he got the ball. I simply say, "You're built for this. You can either sulk or you can fix it. Which choice are you going to make?"
Right. But I do also recall either the next day, I believe it was the next day when you guys were relooking at that film.
Right.
That is when that teachable moment and uh,
Technical
the
aspect.
technical aspect. I'm
Yeah.
like tongue
That's when we
twisted.
went back in and made the corrections,
Exactly.
not in the moment.
Right.
Because in the moment, he's in his head. I got to get him out of his head.
Yes.
Now he goes back and he has 4 catches in a row. But he had to get out of his head first.
Right.
And so what he needed was the confidence
It's the most
to get
important
back on
thing.
the horse, get back in the game, get back at whatever he's doing so that he can turn it around.
Right.
But I had to manage my emotions
Right.
in order to reach that.
I feel like one of the things, if young athletes could master this, um, having short term memory.
Yeah.
I just feel like after having 2 drop balls,
Yeah.
how in the world do you manage your memory so that you're not like you're looking at your hands like, man, I got the wrong gloves on. I have slippery fingers. Like, how do you manage that self talk?
Well, you're managing more than that. You have, teammates looking at you like, "Hey man, what's wrong with you, man? Why don't you just catch the ball?" If it was that simple, I would have caught the ball.
Right.
But it's not how that works. You got coaches that, don't have the requisite skills to bring you through the situation. They're just upset that, hey, we didn't get that play.
Right.
How do we get through that moment? They have to be mentally strong enough to get through those moments, to get to that next thing. And they need to know that if everybody else in the building is against them, there's somebody in the stands that believes in me.
Period. I mean, you want to talk about mental toughness.
But that's the thing that holds you. That's the thing that keeps you, because somebody believes.
So,
If everybody is getting on me at one time, it feels futile. It feels like the 200, like the 200 clients. It's overwhelming.
right.
But if somebody believes, all right, I'm gonna hold on to that and I'm gonna get to the next one because I'm built for this.
So, what conversation are you having with our kids, for example, so that so that they are able to have the right type of self-talk? And I know that we've been at different degrees with this.
Mhm.
You know, a couple, one of our boys, maybe he struggled more with confidence than another one.
Right.
What conversation do you have with them so that in the moment, because you're not always going to be with them,
Correct.
like you're not with the two that are in Oregon.
Correct.
So what foundation did you lay in them so that whenever they come up short, their mindset is looking beyond that circle?
Right. So they know pregame and postgame, they're gonna get the support from me.
Right.
Pre-game, they're going to get me reminding them of who they are and what their abilities are. Post-game, they're going to get me helping them through the moment of whatever they're feeling.
Right.
But it's never going to be the correction at the time. It's only going to be, hey, we didn't get through this, but we're going to live to fight another day. Hey, we had a bad day, but the only way to fix it is to fix it.
I feel like one important thing that you've always done consistently with the kiddos is you pray with them before the event, whether it's a
Correct.
track meet, whether it's a big game. You always stop and pray with them. And I feel like, you know, it helps them to understand you're not in this one alone.
So when you say that they're not alone, it goes back to who's on the bus. First person that we need on the bus, I want to say person, but the first thing we need on the bus is God.
Amen.
God grounds us, God keeps us. God is the one who has established us. That's our foundation, our relationship with God. And then now, who are the other pieces that we've added to the bus? Meaning, who are the other supports that they have? Can they roll back to, the words that have come from those people we've added to the bus? Are those people in line with the vision that we have, for them and that they have for themselves?
Well, what happens if the wrong person jumps on the bus?
Well, we have to make a discerning evaluation to say, hey, we may like so and so, but they're no good for the direction that we're going. And there's nothing wrong with kicking somebody off the bus that it's not going to get us to our destination.
Hmm. I think
And it's not personal.
it's not personal. That's a point. But I mean, that's a tough, hey, that's big boy pants right there. That's
Correct.
a tough combo.
But that's a part of being brutally honest and assessing your situation. And that person might be a family member.
What a powerful conversation, and such a reminder that not every voice is meant to guide your path. The right advisors will sharpen you, challenge you, and help you grow. But the wrong ones can stunt your progress before you even start. Well, that's a wrap on this episode of the Coach Dad podcast. If today's conversation gave you something to think about or encouraged you in your own journey, share it with someone who needs to hear it. You can find past episodes and more resources at www.podpage.com/coach dad with 3 Ds. And remember, dedication fuels you, discipline shapes you, and development carries you. Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment wherever you're listening. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.